Kelly. So looking at your portfolio, starting off, you have this nice screw post case. It's really heavy, like physically we can feel it, and it has a lot of weight to it. So people that have the screw post oftentimes have their logo and whatnot on front, but you chose a clear cover, so you don't have anything engraved on here, and we get right in to seeing your image when we get your portfolio. So your branding is sort of just giving us your image and having your name. So we open it up and we find your name here. We had talked about different ways as far as fonts went and colors, but here you have your font. It's really simple, it's just straightforward, and your name. And the color of your font matches your image. So you started off with your strongest image. You have your, or one of your maybe top 3 images at least. You have your name really matching that. And I think it adds a succinctness to your work that everything's kind of flowing together. Who you are as a photographer and what you're photographing is very in line here. Something else is that sometimes with these screw posts, we have the work and it's not really tight in there, but your work's nice and tight in there. You might have, and it looks like you did, use a spacer of some sort in here to make sure that these aren't moving around. Just for everyone else's reference, this paper is scored, and that's how it's in there. It has holes poked into it, so she just placed it in there. So as we move through, you can see it also has the fold here, so it starts to lay a little bit flat. I'm not going to push down on the page, but you know that they already have that on there, so you could push them flat and it lay completely flat and not have this bend to it. So all of those details are exactly what we want to see. Those are all looking perfect. So you start off with this really strong image. We've talked about this image a lot, where it has something that gives us a sense of place in the image by having this close to us. It gives us another layer over here and creates this nice asymmetrical balance. And then we get back into this vast landscape. So this image really guides us back in, and it's a perfect image to start with in that way. Oh, and one other thing about this is you have the larger borders on the top, and it's a little bit thicker on the bottom, it looks like, to include your name. So that's one change that we don't see in the rest of them. The rest of them are not full bleed, but they have smaller margins around. And I think that was just to accommodate your name and try to create balance. So here you switch gears a little bit. We have those oranges in the first image, and then we come here and we find these blues that are so bright and the vibrant reds of your series. And then you go right back to those oranges. And I think that back and forth, really making us identify the different aspects of the desert, is what you've talked about, that you want us to see this as colorful, as important as the Las Vegas Strip, right? So this is all close to the Las Vegas Strip, but you want us to acknowledge the colors here. So by having one bright red followed by an orange really makes us think about the colors. And then here having an image where we're slowing down and seeing something that's not as vast, we're getting closer, we're seeing more detail. We had talked about putting even more detail in your work, but even just this change from being further out here to scooting in allows us to better engage with the portfolio. This image, after seeing the first 3, ends up being a little bit flat to me. We don't have the same colors or vibrancies or light that we had in the first couple of images, but we get right back to it here. So again, you're a little bit further away, we have the landscape there, and then we get a little bit closer here. It looks like there's still some magenta in the sky on these prints. Further away again, kind of lead us back with all of this foreground. This is great paper. It's nice and heavy. For a portfolio, people are going to be flipping through it a lot, so you want to make sure that you have a nice sturdy paper. And yours is a clean white paper as well, not having any tones to it. This image falls a little bit flat to me. It looks a little bit muddy compared to the last 2, which were really bright and light and vibrant. this is like in between, right? So this has that kind of a little bit muddier feeling. And this feels like it was like maybe 10 minutes before that other image was taken. So you have the light that's opening it up a little bit. So this does not fall flat to me. Oh, I don't know if I've seen this image before or if it just prints out much better than I saw online, but this is really beautiful. And it kind of mirrors the composition of what you had in your first image, or kind of has a reverse where you have something kind of putting us in place and then something leading us back to that beautiful light back there. And this is our final image. I actually think this is a great image to be a final image because it's tall and strong and really emphasizes all of the attributes of the other images that we saw, the different types of rocks and landscapes that we saw. This kind of embodies a lot of that, the bright blue sky, the different reds and some oranges in the dirt here. You have your little logo that you made, your name, city, website, email address. So really simple, keeps it all about the work, keeps it all about those images, which is perfect for what you've done here. You have some business or some leave behinds here. You have 4 different options for us. They're nice and heavy as well. And then you have your name, city, and then your contact information below that. Those are looking good. I know you went back and forth a lot on that color. I want to pull some of these cards out. So assuming the cards are the same images, so we have the same images. Perfect. And then the same information on the back. So very succinct. Everything's looking great here. So nice job putting together this final portfolio, really editing the images throughout the semester and then putting it together in a professional way with this Screw Post portfolio case. And you have great branding as far as all of this back here, and then just simply having your name on the front. Like I said, I think the simplicity really works for your portfolio. So great job all semester. Nice job with this final piece.